Hi, my name is Jane Laka. So I just want to share with you a story. Last week, I saw friends post on a good friend's wall of her passing. It was very, very sudden. It was as if I just saw her just a few days back. So at the end of your life, you would have to ask yourself, what have we done? Because life, they say, is short. Because also, we would take account of everything that we have done on earth. As it says in the Bible, on earth as it is in heaven. The question that I want to ask you is that, are you doing what you are called to do, or are you only letting life pass by, doing whatever comes to the table? When I was 7 years old, at one point I remember playing and telling myself that one day I would have a store selling organic makeups. I never thought that I would walk in that dream that I am walking now. When I'm at your age, my mom would tell me you should take nursing only because my family are mostly into medicine in the US. But I was firm and I came to a resolve that I want a course that will help me discover and hone my gift as a communicator in whatever form, whether it be in writing or in speaking. So even though my mom would have wanted me to be a nurse at the time, since I don't like needles, I know I am not called in that area of expertise. So it's very, very important that you know what you want to be, what do you want, and what you don't want. When choosing a career or a course, choose a career that will also fit your personality or develop you as a person that you want to be. So at a young age, during college time, I was also discovered in a print ad. I went to a GC, that's what they call it. It's a screening for a jeans company. And I was in college back then, and after that, I have been called to do a photo shoot. And the rest, they said, is history. I was also doing events back then. I've been doing it for about 4 years or more. I have been doing modeling, and I would say that it has greatly improved my confidence level, and it has greatly improved my social skills and communication with other people. And because of that, I was also able to save up for businesses that I will be building in the future. I've been selling clothes, accessories, name it. I usually sell knickknacks, everything, food. So, but there was one time during an event in Glorieta, I vividly remember that I told a friend of mine that I was crying, I was sobbing, telling my friend, I'm not supposed to be here. Um, I feel like I'm meant for something greater. I am meant to do something greater in this world. I know that I am made to make a difference. To be honest, I have no regrets doing what I have to do back then. But actually, there was really something in my gut that says, you have to go here, you have to do this because this is where I am called you to be. So, but no matter, at the time, modeling would be something that a lot of people have dreamed of. But I was struggling my way out at that time. But to be honest, modeling, no matter how grand or how popular it looked like in the world, there was still something in my gut that tells me you are meant for something greater than this. Something that, I've never could have imagined at that point. So after my modeling days, a friend that I helped approached me that maybe it's a good idea to put up an agency since we have a good set of models and contacts. And I was used to referring and helping people around. So, together, we built an agency, and later on, we had to separate ways and did different ventures after that. But I vividly remember as well, I clearly remember that God was telling me that this agency of yours will be built will stand until 7 years. So it was really a fruitful 7 years of my career back then. But on the 10th year, it was on the 8th, 9th, 10th, it was when you're in a relationship, they call it on the rocks. So it was already on the rocks back then. But God has led me to real estate. So it was actually far-fetched from the events, from owning a company to actually selling to people. So it's quite humbling as well, but and I've had my fair share of mistakes and failures in the past. Like, I have been scammed. I have been, I put all of my money in those baskets, on the baskets for get rich. But, entrepreneurship is not like that. It's built with, you have to be passionate. You have to persevere. You have to be patient. It's not get rich schemes, and you have to manage your greed. So at the time, I also put up a salon and makeup bar, but I don't know much about it. I was just too excited. You were just too excited about an idea or a passion that you think it's gonna fly, but never really put my feet on the ground. So it failed. For 2 years, it was on the rocks. I put all my money in there. I invested all my money from the agency that I put up until I had to close it. And eventually, I had to close both. Because of that failure, I've learned so much. I've learned so much about people. I've learned so much about myself. And even managing finances. In business, you really have to manage your finances. You really have to be able to manage it. Otherwise, it will manage you. So, just some of the things that I've learned in that experience is that don't just go into business, or don't just choose to be an entrepreneur because you're excited. Choose to be in business because you want to help people and you want to make a difference. Money, of course, is one driving force, but it's not everything. It's your passion, it's your persistence, perseverance to make you stay in what you are called to do. That time, not only did I lose my beauty salon, I was also lost my I also lost my agency back then. I went to 7 digits to zero. So imagine that heartbreak. I couldn't believe that I was going through that financial problem or financial trouble. But I got back on track. So it's so because when you invest a chicken on a basket that is not laying eggs, then it's bound to fail. But there are risks that you calculate. You calculate risks when you go into business. So I tell you, in business, there would be highs and lows, bows and blows, especially when I remember, so I moved from business to selling properties. So I sold properties in the US. I sold a couple of units in 2 weeks' time. But I was heartbroken because after that, I was expecting that I would be able to get my commissions. But the broker that I partnered into during that time withheld all the money that was supposed to be mine. So for 3 years, I stopped doing real estate until I just got back again after a commission was released that needs my license to be active again so that I would be able to withdraw it. So those are some of the learnings that I have in business. And also I would involve, so after that heartbreak, I was telling God, I was in a crossroads. I was asking God, Lord, where to next? What am I gonna do next? I wanna do what you will. I wanna do what you called me to do. Then God opened the door for Nutra Organics. It's a wellness and beauty enterprise. So we manufacture, we create beauty products, wellness products. And when we started, I knew it was from God because I had a dream. So if you are in need of guidance and wisdom, you ask God. You pray to God. You ask Him for wisdom and guidance because He answers. Life with God is not just a monologue, but it's a dialogue. So maybe at the time you'd think jack of all trades, master of none kind of person, because I jump from one to another industry, and I have different art, related businesses at the time as well back then. At that time, I knew some people would think that type of person simply because I have a lot of passions. I venture into different careers. But what I realize in life is that the most important thing that you have to figure out is your purpose. Because your purpose would lead you to your calling. And your calling will be your staircase to success. Even up to now, everything evolves and changes in a snap. If you want to thrive, you have to go with the times. Sometimes our passion changes, but one thing remains is that our purpose doesn't change. Our gifts from God are irrevocable. That was one of the compass that had led me to my many pursuits. I have to ask myself every time I need to make a decision, how can I make a legacy? Or am I making a living just for myself so that or am I making a living so that others may live? This was the questions I have to ask myself whenever I make decisions. My whys, hows, who, what, and where. So why? Why am I doing what I do? If you know your whys, it's easier to identify what is essential and what is necessary or not essential. Your whys will guide you why you're doing what you're doing. What am I living for? What are you waking up to? So this question will actually guide you to live your purpose. And then number 3 is, what are the gifts that I can share to this world? Everyone has a gift. You are fearfully and wonderfully created by God. So you have a gift. So number 4 is, where do I start? Where do you begin? So you are the only one who can tell yourself when can you start. So number 5 is, where do I position myself? Repositioning and positioning yourself is very important. As important as timing. Okay, so number 6 is, how do I get to that destination? How is also very important because how is the action plan? What are your plans to get to that dream of yours, to that goal of yours? So it's very, very important that you write that down. So what am I doing what I do? The questions that all of us must ask ourselves is, what we are doing now leading us to where we want to go in the future or tomorrow. So of course it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. I have my fair share of mistakes as well and failures in business, believe me. But your decisions today will affect your position tomorrow. Believe it or not, I have had my fair share. Failures, mistakes in the past, name it. And even up to now, you still make mistakes. But those failures and mistakes has led me to many pursuits and passions, and even up to now, and has made me resilient in tough times. So, just an example, during the outbreak of coronavirus in the Philippines, we were busy fulfilling orders for my brand Nutra Organics prior to lockdown. I just recently hired more people from Bicol for our online store so we could continuously grow the brand. But when COVID hit, logistics were nowhere to be found. So, our online shops are down. But, so we had to take a break. So imagine having to be left with a lot of stuff in your hand. But from everyday orders for a couple of months, that was very heartbreaking because we were zero. So I had to make a choice. I had to I had to do something to make my people live, not just to make a living for myself. So what I did was, and at the time there was a challenge that we faced. There was lack of masks, there was lack of PPEs. So we had to find a way to meet that problem. So also in finding where you are going, remember what problems do you want to solve in choosing a career, in choosing your future course. What problems interest you, like what ticks you, and what do you want to solve, how do you want to solve it. So for me at that time, with God's help, the problem we had to solve it at the time during the lockdown is, we want to help the frontliners have protection. We want to save lives. So we wanted to make an impact. Plus, we want also to save lives of the people who are displaced during the pandemic. We want to give them jobs. We want to give them a livelihood at the time. So, with God's help, we were able to cope up. And at the time, I knew that I'm doing what I was called for, to lead and to make an impact. Because of that initiative, we were able to help out and train displaced workers. Even though I don't have any background on that kind of industry, but God has led me to do that because I wanted to have an impact. When you have a vision, there's always going to be provision. So, even up to now, me and my team are working together to help our fellow Filipinos rise up. So, during the height of the typhoons, we would be out there, going out, giving food, sharing relief, doing outreaches, and praying for people, and hoping that, we are doing, what we are doing actually leaves an imprint that will leave a legacy in the future, in the next generations to come even. So let me ask you again this question: what is your true north? So when I look back, I know my name might not be known, or I know that they may not remember me, but what I know for sure is that they would remember that one day, at one point of their lives, there were people who aid to their care, and there were people who made a difference in their lives, especially in times of need. So maybe some of you are asking yourself, what course should I be in? What job would best fit me? Where's my place in this world? But let me tell you that you have a place in this world. So better make it count. And it's okay if you haven't figured it out just yet, but it's important that you have plans and vision for your future. So for you, how do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? What would you have become if you follow your purpose and your dreams and aspirations? What choices will you make today to be able to get to that destination? What course will you take, or what pursuits will you start today to make it happen? Ayan. So it has been said, write your vision in tablets. And remember this verse that says, my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. So we don't want to be destroyed, but we want to be fully equipped to be what we want to be, to pursue what we want to become. So, knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is wisdom, and it's better to have wisdom because you take action to that knowledge. Because stored knowledge is just stored knowledge, but wisdom is acting upon the knowledge that you have. So, those who ask God for wisdom receives, because He gives generously without finding fault. If money is not an issue, what would you be like today? Or what would you like to take? Or what dreams would you like to pursue? I want you to remember that those God-given dreams are divine to God, and make sure to not let go of them. Write them on tablets, write them on notebooks, and have faith that with God, nothing is impossible. If you do what is humanly possible and allow God to do the impossible. Ask yourself these questions before making a big decision. Are the choices I make today affect my future and the next generation behind me? Make plans and make actionable plans and make them realistic enough to follow through. You don't have to pursue the successes of other people, but look at what you can contribute to the world. What problems do you want to solve, and how can you make a difference with your gift? Because you have a gift from the Lord. At this point in my life, my next plans is to expand in a different country, God willing, hopefully this year. And so God bless you, and I hope you will continue to live a life of purpose and legacy. And I hope I was able to enlighten you and inspire you on your next journey. God bless you.